As the video game industry becomes increasingly popular every year, so does a very peculiar question. Do video games need to be fun? Short answer, no. Long answer, no. I do believe, however, video games are a unique media at providing a certain experience. This comes via a plethora of interactions and emotions that film and TV can't quite capture. This is thanks to players having a direct impact on what the main character does. Well, if the game has been developed correctly anyway. Instead of the typical so and so will remember that and it will change a whopping 2 lines of dialogue which will impact the entire story. With all that being said, this is why you should play the depressing beauty that is Pathologic 2. This game is difficult, but not in the standard sense. In fact, you have the option to adjust multiple settings to make things easier for yourself. No, the difficulty lies in the choices you make. What kind of choices? Well, that's tough to dive into without me getting into that dreaded spoiler territory. Good news though, I will be keeping spoilers to an absolute minimum through this video. As mentioned earlier, video games are about experiences, and Pathologic 2 provides one of the best experiences on offer today. I will though give you a little taster of some of the wonderful and downright hideous things you can do in this game. Where your actions sit on that spectrum depends on your moral compass. I will also say this, I am by no means a master of Pathologic 2. In fact, as of writing this script, I have just over half of the total achievements. But this game sticks with you. It's quite possibly the best game at making you feel your absolute worst. And that is 100% to its credit. You aren't a superhero with regenerating health in this game, and you do not have the solutions to each and every problem. In fact, you will die. You will miss out on potential story and quest threads, but this is okay. It's almost encouraged. This isn't a game where you should save scum if something doesn't go to plan. This is a game where almost everything is out of your control and you must deal with the consequences. Touching on our main character, essentially you play as a doctor returning to his hometown after going away to master his craft. You know, going off to a far off land to learn the ways of the scalpel ninja. Part of the mystique of this town, however, has been forgotten. Your character knew of the traditions of your hometown, but has since unremembered them. You do get some dialogue choices which seem to point you in the right direction, but you the player will have no idea behind the meaning of these words. Not until you delve deeper and decipher what each of these odd nicknames relates to. I mean, what is a Menku? Just a miserable little pile of secrets. Mysterious language aside, you've also returned to figure out the cause of your father's death. I know, just when you already had enough on your plate. You'd think a son returning to grieve over the loss of his dad would be grounds for a decent amount of sympathy, but no, you left your hometown. You denied their teachings. You must reaffirm that you are here to help and not to hinder. What's the best way to show you mean well? Isn't it obvious? Trade needles to children, of course. I mean, you can also save the townsfolk from muggers, I guess, or offer your services as a doctor. Like how you can perform an autopsy to remove a lockpick from someone's kidney, then remove said kidney and sell it on the black market. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, helping the community. Getting to know some of the key players in this town is a great start. Finding out the inner workings of this mysterious place and who runs what is the smartest choice when you are completely clueless. Offering your assistance is obviously something a doctor would do upon his return, let alone someone who grew up here. So surely you could use this to your advantage. That is, however, far easier said than done. Because not only has your father died, you have been accused of his murder. How could this be possible? You've only just returned. Everyone knows this, and yet everyone demands your death. And here I was, expecting a welcome home banner. When the entire town is against you, who could you rely on? Your father is dead, you have no family to speak of. Maybe your childhood friends could offer a helping hand, and thankfully they do. The one glimmer of hope of what has been a pretty eventful day. Now to clear up any other misconceptions and get back to investigating your father's house to try and get any lead on how he died. Your father, being extremely well respected, has a crowd gathered around his house. But even with his death, something feels off. They aren't talking to one another, but rather staring at the houses, a little too intently. What is this mold? Are the houses bleeding? Yet another mystery. You enter the house. It's empty, yet oddly feels full of life. Bizarre given the circumstances, but hasn't everything been this way? Voices litter the hallways, some muffled behind locked doors. The one open room leads you to a note with a key to a secret room in the factory. A little odd, or should I be saying it's nothing unusual? At least you have a new destination to check out. But why do you feel like someone or something has been watching you this entire time? Another long trek to the factory, but at least you're getting ever closer to solving this mystery. Or will it create another question needing to be answered? That's what it feels like. My list of questions is getting longer and longer with each step, and this journey has already made me walk multiple miles. There has been no clarity to my thoughts. Just like this town, each area getting covered in fog. Still, you must press on, never stopping, always moving. This secret room is cluttered with machines, equipment I am somewhat familiar with, but what use is it now? I guess when people are sick it'll come in handy, but why would a doctor have secret equipment? You are working tirelessly to tie together so many loose ends. Your services are needed, people are getting sick. Your father's equipment really did come in handy in the end. You may not be closer to solving his murder, but you are learning more about the town. Step after step, going from one place to the next. Helping, hurting, confusion, clouded thoughts, clouded town. This black fog, it's spreading. More and more people are getting sick, at an alarming rate. I can't seem to cure them, only prolong their suffering. There is no end in sight. There's only so much I can do. But even I can't do much. This isn't just any illness. This black fog, it's the plague. This is worse than you could have possibly imagined. You saw that same black fog leave your father's room. Did you release the plague by entering the house? You were accused of being your father's murderer upon arrival, yet you may have indirectly killed the entire town. But there were already these weird scabs on the outside. Was the plague already manifesting, and it was just a coincidence? Was it fate? What can you do? How can you stop this? You have access to your father's equipment, but could these bizarre tinctures really help? I mean, it's the plague. Everyone is going to die. The plague will kill each and every person. Nobody can resist the plague. There is no cure. There is no solution. There is no happy ending. But there is this weird item, a schmauder. This child says it's a cure-all, but what do they know? If you, a certified doctor, have no clue what it does, then how could this child possibly think this will save you? But what if it does? What do you have to lose? Surviving a plague will require a miracle, a child's wish. And this, my friends, is where my tale ends and yours begins. There are so many clever decisions the developers have made with this game. The voices in the wind, the ambient noises within the music, even subtle nuances like how each important character is lit to match their personality, the added voice dialogue when interacting with characters, the conflicting dialogue choices that you get to make, to either brush off the traditions as local voodoo or to embrace them to gain more knowledge which could benefit you in the future. Learning how each of the most important figures has their own thoughts on how to make the town flourish. Best of all are each of the moral dilemmas you are forced to make with almost every quest. Do you risk your own life to save another? Do you sneak in someone's house to loot some food as you are in desperate need of it, causing them to starve instead? After all, if you die, then doesn't the last hope of the town die too? But you're not a killer, you're a doctor. Do you listen to the advice of the locals and follow your father's footsteps? Or do you forge your own path by trampling on all of their teachings? Every which way you think about it, any decision you make is for the greater good. So does it matter what you do now if it means the future of the town has been saved? Can you live with the decisions you make, regardless of the short-term consequences? As you can tell, I adore this game. The more I think about it, the more I love its design. I've watched many videos since first completing Pathologic 2, such as those from HBomberGuy and Ragnarox. Videos far better than this one, which I highly recommend. But above all, I recommend you play Pathologic 2. It really does offer a unique experience, which no other game has had that kind of impact on me other than this one. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. It's something very different to what I usually create, but I had a lot of fun making it, and without a doubt I'll be making more of these in the future. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye for now.